This is a method of reasoning question. We want to talk about Gamba's strategy of argumentation. So we want to find the conclusion and the premises and talk about what the premises are doing. How are they attempting to support the conclusion? And we're not trying to find fault or flaws or assumptions or anything like that. We want to give Gamba the benefit of the doubt here and just talk about what the premises are doing. And so the conclusion is kind of here at the end of the argument. You shouldn't assume that these votes represent the views of the majority. So these results don't necessarily reflect the majority view. And the reason why is we did have a resolution opposing the water system. So there was a vote and the outcome was against the system. But only 25 of 350 people voted. Only 15 people were against. And that represents less than 1% of the total population. So these guys won. They won the vote. But they're such a small part of the population that it doesn't necessarily represent the majority view. So what Gamba's doing here is just pointing out that the winning side, the number of votes on the winning side, is such a small percentage of the population that it's not really necessarily reflective of the majority view. We're emphasizing what a small fraction of the group this is. So we're suggesting that a vote outcome might not be representative because only a very small fraction participated. I'd look for an answer along those lines. Let's go ahead and check them out. Answer choice A starts out sounding pretty good. We are questioning a conclusion based on the results of a vote, but not on the grounds that people with certain views are more likely to vote. In order for A to fit what's going on here, we would have to suggest that some part of the voting population was highly motivated to vote. And so they're sort of skewing the outcome. The outcome isn't representative of everybody because there's some subgroup that voted in much larger numbers. And that's not how the premises work here. So the tail end of A is bad. It's describing the conclusion correctly, but it's not describing the premises correctly. Answer choice B also starts out pretty good, questioning a claim supported by statistical data. We're questioning Munoz's claim that the overwhelming majority oppose this system. But this isn't how our premises work. We're not arguing that statistical data can be manipulated to say whatever you want it to say. So both answer choice A and answer choice B describe the conclusion correctly, but they're not describing the premises correctly. And both parts have to match up in order to describe the method of argumentation. So C starts out pretty good too. We are attempting to refute an argument, but are we showing, first of all, showing is a pretty strong word. Are we showing that contrary to what has been claimed, the truth of the premises do not guarantee the truth of the conclusion? I don't think we're doing that. We're just pointing out that the survey was really small. It's possible that the conclusion is still true. And it's true that the truth of the premises don't guarantee the truth of the conclusion. And when you're using statistics, statistics don't necessarily guarantee any claims, but we're not really demonstrating that. We're not showing that in any way. And it's also, I feel like the primary thing going on here is we're pointing out that the sample's too small. And C doesn't touch on that at all. So it's better than A and B. I might flag it, but I'd really be looking for something that points out that we identified the problem with the sample. The sample's too small. We're criticizing a view on the grounds that the view is based on evidence that is in principle impossible to disconfirm. Well, the beginning of this is good as well. We're criticizing a view, but we haven't said that the survey is impossible to disconfirm. You could probably disconfirm it if you take a new, much larger survey. It could prove that the opinion is actually in the other direction. We could disconfirm that survey. There's nothing about a survey that is impossible to disconfirm. Evidence that's like this, it's hard to think of an example right now, but evidence that's impossible to disconfirm, I don't know what quality that would have, but the surveys certainly don't have that quality. You can disconfirm them with a new survey. And so we're out on answer choice D. This is really tough language to like here. Attempting to cast doubt on a conclusion, all of these start good. This is what's happening to Munoz. We're trying to cast doubt on Munoz's conclusion by claiming that the sample on which the conclusion is based is too small to be dependable. And this is exactly what our premises are doing. So on a method of reasoning question, it's really important that not only the conclusion matches up to the answer choice, but also the premises. And only answer choice E is describing our premises correctly. Our premises don't work by showing that the truth of the other side's premises don't guarantee the truth of their conclusion. We're pointing out that the evidence on the other side is too small to be reliable. We really want an answer choice along those lines, and only E is giving it to us.